Yeah, okay, sorry for the wait. Okay, so the error above was nothing. I just didn't do sudo open VPN. You need to have open VPN to connect with the Tryhackme, and this should initialize. Now we need to check one more thing. See if it you can see this initialize sequence complete, then it is working correctly. Let's see here. We'll go to access. I still don't know, like they need access or they don't need access. Means we can go to network, holo live reaching ID enumeration. Yeah, so it does not need for us to download that network open VPN file. Okay, so as starting and moving forward, first of all, we know Microsoft Windows is used everywhere in the enterprise or big companies. The reason is because of the facility provided of Active Directory. Now, what is Active Directory? Active Directory, you can think of it like it manages various things. For example, imagine you have companies with 4 PC. You have to go and set the password, username, and other rules, if we can use command prompt or if we cannot use, and all that. For 4 PC it's feasible, but now consider there are 400 PCs. So what Active Directory does is it manages everything from a single PC or a system, and it is called controller, domain controller. Now every PC connected to it gets organized into units. For example, let's say there is a sales unit. Sales unit would never be allowed to use command prompt, PowerShell, or any software that will interact with the kernel object. They would be allowed to use like Excel or any software provided by the company. Nothing else. Most probably they don't even need internet unless for email. Then comes the IT units. For them, it is important that command prompt is allowed, PowerShell is allowed, and these are all implemented through group policies. So all I need to do is register one user, put it into IT group, and all the group policy for the IT groups or IT units will be implemented on that user. So I can sit in my place and I can control the other PCs within the network. It can be remote if it can control anything from like able to access remotely or not, or how much access control we have to put on the user. This is all can be done through domain controller. Okay, so what is the learning objective of this room is we will enumerate the domain and the network. We will find valid domain user and identify misconfigurations. We will perform password spraying attack to get our first pair of valid Active Directory credential, discover sensitive credential stored in the configuration file. Now in order to connect with this network, we have to first start the machine, that we did, and then we have to go to access tab. You can come to access tab by clicking here. Okay, and then comes the machine and network. In network we have to go to this junior pentester ed version 01, download this configuration file. Why I don't know why it is taking time, but let's see here. Okay, it did not download for some reason. Okay, now it did, and I'll just ls. Yes, it is there. So again, the step to connect it is same. Okay, we have to do open VPN and this. So I like to give the name here, so I don't by mistake close it. Okay, network. Yeah, so we'll go to new file and we will just check root. And can we see 10 point, yeah, this should be visible as they have mentioned here. For that IP you will have different and I am gonna have different, like root, and I need to see, confirm that you can see. Okay, I have another IP now. Okay, yeah, we can see that. Okay, and done with the room number 1. Now moving forward, now our task is mapping out the network. We have to map out the network. Imagine you really don't know where you are, what, how you gonna move forward. So here we gonna understand everything regarding the network. First of all, we need to understand how many targets are alive within the given scope. So the given scope to us is 10.211.11.0/24. Now let's first understand what IP we can get in. So 10.211.11 .0/24 means that the IP we can have are 10.211.11.1 till 10.211.11.255. Okay, /24 means that it has network mask of 255.255.255.0. Okay, this means that I can have total 256 IPs within this subnet mask, and we have to identify how many of them are alive. How we want to do this? Using two tools. First, we're gonna use this fping. Okay, now fping what it does is it is similar to ping. It uses the ICMP to know whether a target is alive or dead, but the better part here is that it's at a time it sends ICMP to many targets. Ping wait for one target to say yes or no or reply, and then it times out. But fping, if one IP address does not reply, it moves to next one. For more information we will do help. So let's see. Okay, I want it to be alive, and then what name, show target by name. For the, no, we don't really need name right now. Okay, so we're gonna use our let's say first will be the A. We need to understand how many targets are alive within the given network, and then I would need generate. It should generate the list if alive or not, and I would go with Q because I don't want it to result very heavy results. Okay, so let's start. What I will do is fping A, G and Q, and the IP address 10.211.11.024. We will give it whole IP range. Let's see. So the two IP it has found being alive: 210, 220, 250. Okay, so here I know, if I can just let me check here. The third IP is actually a VPN server, so we're not gonna check it. What we will add though is let me just and I will create is and in this target, okay, we needed to add these two IP. We will add it. Okay, there's one more way instead of fping, that is using nmap sn on the given subnet mask. not subnet mask, given the network mask. We can see though we got the same three output, 10, 20 and 250. Okay, now we need to enumerate them. Alright, so I'm gonna go with nmap sc so that it would run the all defaults nmap scripts, sv for version enumeration st, and since I know this is a vulnerable machine and I need fast result, I will do t4. But remember, it will create a lot of traffic, lot of noise within the network, so it should be avoided, and I would provide it with the list. Okay, what was the command for list? So I guess it was il, and we will do target txt, and for output I would say nmap or the room name ad enum.txt oa. Okay, it worked with on, and we have to wait. Normally I have, from next video I guess I will do it beforehand, so that it won't waste too much of our time. Scanning or enumeration you can give, and this is I would give misc. This is why do I have misc is so that if I need to find anything that I cannot do here to mess up the what we say result, I do that. You can always press enter to understand how much time is remaining or how much of a scan is done, but make sure not to do it too much or else the output get a little bit messy. So I guess it's almost done. It should be done by now. That let's understand. Okay, what port scan did they do? Okay, they did specific port scan, not like the one I preferred. SS, SP. Okay, okay, they also use ON. Okay. Okay, it's done. Okay, 95%. Okay, now it's done. The results are out. Let's go through each one of them. So first of all, 22 classic open SSH. Now the thing is 53 domain. First we need to understand what scan is this for. It is for 10.211.11.10. okay, port 22 is open. Okay, 53 domain simple DNS plus. Alright, now see, I will determine that 10 is a domain controller. Why? Because first of all 53 port, this is a domain port, DNS resolution, this port is used. Then 88 Kerberos, if this is on, that means it is Windows domain controller. 135, then again RPC, these are remote procedures. And then LDAP, Active Directory LDAP is there. Okay, now here we get the domain name. We need, actually we should always, I don't know, cherry tree, yeah, it is there. I would suggest to always make a note of it, everything. And first I would start it node name. I would say Tryhackme. Tryhackme, and there's a reason why I'm doing this. Tryhackme ad enumeration. Yeah, now below this we will write mapping and mapping the network. And in mapping the network we will write, what are we gonna write? The first thing we find the domain name, that is where it is, yeah, Tryhackme local dot. Okay, This is the domain name that we find out. There are okay, yeah, we are telling it to save in CTB Tryhackme active domain name notes. Okay, now what else we know? We know work group is Tryhackme. 445 is open. Nice. What it is we will understand very soon actually. Okay, then again see here, LDAP service, this one is kind of like HTTP, and this is a secured version. HTTPS, like HTTPS. Okay, we will understand when we come at the topic where we exploit them. Now the another is terminal services and HTTP APIs. Okay, now I guess this is it. OS, we know it is a Microsoft, but let's see. Windows 7.7. okay, it has not mentioned that what is the version server, like it is 2019, 2016, 22, what server is running. Yeah, it did not mention that. Okay, now one more thing very important is this. Yeah, product version will also do, and system time is also sometime important, because there are many what do you say, attacks may not work because our attacker machine and server machine timing are not synchronized, so it is important too. And okay, that's it. We determine this is our domain controller. An authenticated use blank, authenticated level user. Okay, so we can access the SMB files without any username. OS Windows Server 2019 data center. Nice, we got the domain. Okay, host script result. Then we got NetBIOS name DC. Domain name, forest name is also tryhackme.loc. FQND DC. This is also important. Oh my bad, I pressed actually Control C. Copy selection. Actually this is also important. OS Windows Server. And let's see, date doesn't matter. Message signing okay, message signing enable is important. We'll know as we move further during SMB exploitation. For name, yeah, this is also important. Okay, I guess this is all important, but also there is one more thing important is this you should remember that blank user is allowed to authenticate at user level. But then now let's come to at report 20. SSH is open, 135 is open, and then 445, 389. Okay, so HTTP is open. Okay, like we're not gonna view that for now since we know what we want. Okay, alright, so we are gonna focus on this task in for now the machine 10. Machine 20 really is not we don't need to check anything right now, but it is also the part of the domain. See here the DNS computer name. Okay, it is different. Okay, I guess we need to mark, we should keep this too just in case we need. Okay, so I'll do like information from IP 10.211.11.10. and IP 10.211.11.20. Okay, now we'll move forward and let's answer the question first. What is the domain name of our target? We know the domain name of our target. This is the domain name. See. Okay, what is the version of Windows running on DC? And I'm glad we copied this. Okay, done. Now comes the part where we will enumerate assembly. Now looking at the next task, SMB, server message block, we will focus enumerating the network using this protocol. This protocol gives the shares that a domain controller is sharing. And first, see here in the scenario we really don't have any username or password, and in the nmap scan that we have, here for the IP 20 we see there is an SMB server on. Okay, now how we gonna exploit this is, what we're gonna do is we will try to log in without username or password, anonymous login, and in the nmap scan it did say that about the security mode, account used blank, means no account was passed, but authentication was at user level, challenge response supported. We don't need to know this, just thing is this too is important, that blank worked and was user level authentication. So keeping that in mind, we should try it. We will use two tools, SMB client and SMB map. First with SMB client, okay, and I will do L is for listing and we'll give 3. Okay, I guess yeah, you gave 2, my bad, and I will do 10.211.11.10. okay, and for no username, no password, and this should list the shares. Yeah, it did. Reconnecting with SMB, okay, no, doesn't matter. Okay, so admin, remote admin, default share, but we don't know if we are able to read it or we are not able to. For that we gonna use SMB map. Okay, now how we do this, SMB map and just host 10.211.11.10. this should give us again the same output, just additional field access, about being what we have access to and what we does not have access of. Yeah, so results are out and we can see admin we do not have access, anon share we do have read and write access, shared file we have, user backups. See, user backups names are interesting, we'll go there. And then one more thing about having a write access is that if we can write a malicious code, that can be quite harmful to the system too. So how we gonna access this user backups? Okay, so what we're gonna do is SMB client 10.211.11.10 and user backups, and of course n. Okay, I will do ls flag.txt. what we need is flag.txt, we do exit ls and there it is, flag.txt. okay, so we were able to get into the system and get the file. See, what we gonna use in future or after this basics is done mostly is Crackmap. Crackmap exe is the best because it not only allows for this. See, what happens is as we move to deeper Active Directory exploitation enumeration, Crackmap will allow us to do brute forcing, password spraying, and all that, which is very useful, very means too useful, and we will move towards it not very soon, but as fast as we can. More normally in challenges, I will introduce you at that time, not during walkthrough rooms. Okay, so LDAP enumeration. We'll start with LDAP enumeration. It is domain enumeration, but domain enumeration is basically getting username, group, password policy, and all that. So first of all, we start with LDAP anonymous bind. Now first let's understand what is LDAP. So lightweight Active Directory Access Protocol. It is used to manage Active Directory services. Okay, so for example, it is used to locate and organize resources within network. For example, as I mentioned before, user groups, organizational units, and all that. So what it does, it's allow application to query this directory functions, directory information like users and all that, or what is policy. LDAP allow it to query it. So what is it? Well, the problem is if it allows the anonymous access or anonymous login or use or allow anyone to query this information anonymously without logging in, then this can be a problem. So we're going to see here how to do that. So using LDAP search. Okay, LDAP search. X is for normal authentication. Then we need to mention the host, and once we're done mentioning the host, we're gonna say is space. So what we are saying is no need to do. Okay, here the X I told, H I told, who for host. S is base, means not to try to do recursively. I'm telling it only to do for root directory. Okay, what can't contact, why? Okay, I'll just see. And yeah, okay, so the problem is I didn't mention the LDAP, so it wouldn't know who to talk with. Yeah, so the problem was the X I was using was capital, it should be small. Alright, now I enter, it should start giving me some result. Okay, I do get a lot of result, but the most like the result I would be interesting is naming context. This naming context is literally used in a lot of functionalities, and we will see that. And except that, yeah, here is also naming context, but the most important is this one. Okay, yeah, server name is also important, and DNS host name is also important. Okay, what we're gonna do is I will copy this. Yeah, configure name. We'll copy this much. For now, this should be enough. We'll of course look for it later on when we do further lateral movements and exploitation or enumeration process. Okay, this is also enumeration process only. Okay, now moving further. Okay, we see output, and yeah, we can also query the user information from it, from how we can do it. Okay, so instead of using base, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say B, and we will provide it with a naming context this time. Okay, so we have the naming context here. Just we will copy this much. Okay, and let's say here we're gonna pass the object class person. Now what this is, there is many object classes like object class admin, object class person. So this will list all the person, means all the users basically. Even admin can be here, admin can be present here. Normally machines won't be there, which are marked as a machine object class. See, in Windows everything is an object, like in Linux everything is a file system. In Windows everything is an object. Even the file, even the notepad.exe is considered as an object. Even the file you save using that notepad.exe is what we say, object, considered as an object. Okay, so that's why it is important that always you're going to use this object class equal to person or that and that. Okay, so let's see what we got the result. Okay, it is a lot of okay, object class person, user, given name curve. What is another one? Let's see, object class given name straight. So is it that Sam account name maybe? Okay, yeah, what we're gonna do is we would say give me only Sam account name. We would do grep yeah, so we get guest, dc, work, shd, and these are all the names of the users. Okay. Now we'll move forward. Enum for Linux. Enum for Linux ng is a good tool, but personally I would avoid it because it's like it's been in ages, it's not been updated. Okay, yeah, its output is also very um, unprofessional. No light, no highlighting the vulnerabilities, nothing. Enum for Linux, I don't have ng. Okay, I'll just install it. Okay, okay, I've done with my installation of enum4 ng. So I guess maybe I mixed up enum4 Linux and enum4 ng. So here A specifies that all the enumerations available should be done, and then we will go with OA to save the result. I would say this enum4 r result.txt. let's say target username, random username, password nothing, 5 seconds timeout, ldep is accessible, smb over and bias. Okay, smb dialect check 1 true, 2 true, 3 true. Okay, all the functions are available. Domain information, okay, netbias, domain name, Tryhackme, computer name, we know. Domain, it's a domain member, Tryhackme. RPC allow you, okay, see, it is telling us that servers is allowing session using RPC blank password. Okay, so null session is allowed. RPC, we will come to that, it's a next actually. Okay, see, Tryhackme, we got the SID of the domain, it's a domain SID. Okay, OS information, Windows Server 2019, we know that. Okay, see, this is an updated one. It is very different from enum4 which I was using, so my bad actually. Groups, what we do, we know DNS admins is there, cert publisher is there, RSIS server, allow RODC password replication group. Okay, password replication group is there. Maybe we don't not gonna exploit this, but okay, well, at least we can look at it. Okay, found 8 shares. Okay, we know the shares. Policies, it is looking for policy. Okay, this is important when doing password spraying attack. Minimum password length is 7, maximum password age 41 days, password history length 24, domain password complex, it should be true, no anon chain, no clear chain. Okay, completed. Okay, this is it, but this is a very crucial information before password spraying. Okay, now that we're done with it, we will be moving with RPC null session. Now what is RPC? RPC allow a certain program to access the resource from another program without computers need for that. No, it's like we can access program, means that program, and these programs are running on different computers. Okay, and we don't need to know the details of RPC. We like program doesn't need to know the details of RPC. Okay, it is accessed via SMB. Okay, and when SMB is allowed to do null session, then authentication is not required, and that is what we're gonna see here. So what we're gonna see is RPC client u blank. So no username, no password, 10.211.11.10, and nulls, and no means don't prompt me for password. Okay, we got connected. What we're gonna do is enum dom user. So enum dom users, maybe, yeah. So we will get the result of users. This is exactly what we saw in the LDAP search. Okay, now let's see what we're gonna do is RID cycling. Okay, now see here, RID cycling. I really let's try it. Query user, and we need to put the RID. See, every user has their own RID. Okay, yeah, see, if we put this command query user RID, it will give username, full name, home. Now we now after this, what we will gonna try is we gonna take curve root. Okay, for in curve root is to check whether the username provided is true or false. So we are going to use this code. So what it is doing here, sequence 500 to 2000. Okay, so it will go from 500, 501, 502 like this. Okay, till 2000. Echo query, it will take one of these IDs. RPC client u, it is for the entering this. That one change I made in the given code was using this. So what it does is, I will show you in the output. First let's run what they have provided. Yeah. Okay, so let's say this is a result for, so here the AWK, what it will do, it will split the command here. So it will split the whole line here, and what I am selling it, print $2. So $1 is this and $2 is this. So this will be getting print. So we will get a proper username that we can use to like, and I would say that users.txt, save it in user.txt. I hope we don't have to wait until the whole txt is ready, but whatever. So this will give us a clean result. I will be back when the result is visible. AWK, and what did we do here? $2. So acha, first of all let's try with this. If not, they set to set a space. Yeah, this works. Okay. Okay, it is done, and cat user.txt. Now that it is done, let's see. We will do curve root as we should have. My bad, I was actually looking through while that was in process. Okay, curve root. We will do curve root. Okay, so I have it. Curve. I don't have it. Okay, how? Okay, I have waited so I can show you the installation step. Copy link, and what I'm gonna do is new tab. Okay, tools. Okay, and we're gonna duplicate, and it is the steps has been provided here. Let's try that first. Rename. We need to rename. There's no actual need to rename, for example, but we will do. And how we can rename is mv curve root to curve root. Okay, this will rename, and we need to give it execution permission. Okay, now let's run curve. Okay, the thing is the username.txt is in this folder, so okay, no problem. Curve root, and I will do dc. Need to give the IP of the domain controller. Now mention the domain name. Okay, and of course it is not in user.txt, it is in Tryhackme enumeration, and here user.txt. okay, exe format error. What error? Oh my god. Yeah, okay, maybe because of that. User enum, no. Okay, I guess I will look into this introduction. For now this will run, and it will tell if it is a valid username or not. Okay, so it is asking what's the group of user Duke. For this we will use RPC client. Okay, great. RPC. Okay, no, this one is not. It's a miss. RPC client. Yeah, this is through null session we are connecting again. So for enum dom users, we will look for Duke and be fast. Let's see, the PID of the Duke is RID. Sorry, RID of the Duke is, my bad, I have clicked the control C, and I would say query user, paste its RID. Okay, this gives a lot of information. It gives the group RID. Let's, okay, I just tried it. Oh nice, domain users. what is the user's full name. Full name should be here. Okay, great. And it has asked what is the my bad, actually, my bad. And query user, we need to say username. Okay, that's it done. Now password string. So password string, as I mentioned in below above, I mean before, that password string is when one username and many password is used on them. No, sorry, many username and one password is used on them. Why this is? Because we don't know exactly when the account will log out. An Active Directory account may log out after 3 attempts, and it is possible the user have already made one or two wrong attempts. So that's why what we're gonna do is we're gonna use many username and very less passwords. Okay, so many one password for many user, that's it. So before attacking, we need to understand the group policy, how free it we will gonna find through RPC only. So what we're gonna do is get dom password info. Okay, so it is saying the min password length is 7 and password property is 0. Okay, now there is also one more method, that is Tryhackme, and passpol gives us, see, we right now know that the anonymous everything is alive. Tryhackme.exe, I don't have that. Yeah, I need to install it. Well, back when it is installed. Yeah, so it is installed now. Tryhackme.exe. Okay, now with that what I'm gonna do is say SMB. See, it supports SMB, LDAP, RPC, SSH and RDP2, and it is used for enumeration as well as exploitation and post exploitation as well, that we will see as we move further in this course. 10.211.11.10 we have to give it an IP, and what do we need right now is password policy. Okay, this will give the complete password policy of the domain server. Okay, name DC, it is signing true. Okay, here we go. Password length 7, password history length 27, maximum password age 41 days, password complexity flag 0001, domain refuse. Okay, minimum password age is 1 day, reset account lockout counter, okay, 2 minutes. Okay, the logged account duration is 2 minutes. For 2 minutes account will be logged, maybe. Threshold 10, so like I can try 10 times. What it say? Force lock off time not set. Okay, so minimum password length we know 7. What is the logged account duration? Logged account duration 2 minutes. Perform password. Now we will perform password spring. So for this we're going to use, see, password spring, how can we do? There are many options. I would say the one can be if like you find any email of the person, of the employee, you can like find their pet or like their birthday, their relatives birthday, their relatives name and all that. It can be many times a password. When the company is not providing, the user is very lazy to set a password, because what company does it, it's make them change, like we saw here, I guess. I know it. Okay, but we saw, right, that it need to be changed in 41 days. So like in almost like every 1.5 months you have to change password, so it becomes difficult to remember it. So they try to make it related to them to remember it, and through going to their Insta, LinkedIn, all this can be possible. Or we can use default password, or based on the what policy we can see. We have seen the 7 password length should be there should be one special character or number. So we have created the, actually they have provided the list. Okay, and we're gonna use this list to attack the okay, attack the users. Crack map, crackmap.exe, and of course smb will give the IP address 10 user.txt, password pass.txt. Let's see if this works. If this does not work, Windows Server smb Tryhackme, guess does not work with anyone. DC won't work, I know, because these are the computer made account. Okay, SSHD did not work. So I'll be back when the results are out. Yeah, okay, we got a password, the correct one, rduke password 1. Okay, so got a user access. Now that's it, and the lab will be complete. So whatever we learn in this room is clear. Now the next room is AD authentication enumeration, which we will look next, as we got an what we say, username and password to log in, and when we are as a part of a domain, how do we enumerate the domain. Okay, and for any mistakes that happen in this video, this is my first video, so I hope you kind of consider it, and thank you.